what we should expect in the future too. So Amit has 3 decades of professional experience in direct taxes. He's trained more than 100 CA students. He's a member of IFSR IND as committee of WIRC of ICAL. I don't know all these terms, but yes, you'll probably explain to me what it is. His expertise includes corporate taxes, transfer pricing, lower deduction of tax, cross-border advisory, transaction advisory, and tax audit. Amit also has a very good hang of how to handle scrutiny assessments, appeals assessments, and various other representations matters with diverse regular and taxation authorities. So Amit has prepared papers and also contributed to union budget publications and diverse topics in conferences organized by various professional bodies. So, yes.
Thank you, Kiran. First of all, my apologies for being late. I never estimated the time required to reach here. And I missed out on that. My apologies. I think I am audible without the mic. Thank you. I'll be more comfortable today. Well, fine. First of all, my sincere thanks to the club for inviting me to share my thoughts on the subject which we have been talking about. At least I am talking on this subject for more than 90% of the time that I am in office. So, and I'm sure all of you must be providing this amount of time for finding out ways and means of getting over these crises. Well, friends, if we start from day one, we go to flashback on 8th of November when our Prime Minister announced the demonetization. Next. Not running or what?
What's wrong?
Okay. Fine, we go to that day on 8th of November at 8 p.m. when Prime Minister announced it. It gave jitters to the entire economy. The effect of demonetization, which of course followed the 1978 withdrawal of 1000 rupee notes, 1000, 5000 and 10,000 rupee denomination notes which were there at that time. The immediate effect was, to send people running around. It went, do you have the pointer or anything?
Yeah, I'll next.
Okay, good. All of you know that it is a top secret till last moment. And the notion that demonetization is because of the top secret that Modi government like to have. Last time when demonetization took place in 1978, I think in the history of the world economy, there are very few instances where demonetizations have taken place. Apart from India, there were other countries like New Zealand, the African countries, they had it in the past. Brazil had it about 3 or 4 decades back. But in India, we have only one demonetization effect. At that time, economy was in shambles and there were hardly any effects on the industry. But currently, when we are talking about the industry, when at least 85% of the total money in circulation is in 500 and 1000 rupee denomination, the effect is there to be seen by all of us. The jitters that we underwent and still we are going would continue for maybe another 1 month or more, maybe more. And we believe that it should continue till at least 31st of March. It would continue, not should. I'm sorry to use that word. But the effect of that would continue to be there till 31st of March. So we all should be prepared to go forward for it. Well, knee-jerk reactions as I am writing there, people went around, they found jewelers who could sell their jewelleries, and we could use our 500 and 1000 rupee denomination because 4 hours were given, and within those 4 hours we had to do number of things. Builders and developers also started accepting cash with their own prices because people felt just we'll have to throw it. Dealer in foreign exchange also made a lot of profits, but these were the initial effects where people started reacting. But if we go, I mean, what are the effects on it? Effects of those demonetization. Payments which were outstanding for a long time, I am sure many of you must have realized that people have started paying cash in 500 and 1000 rupee denomination for which they were not ready to pay for a number of years probably, and you started realizing it. Next to that, of course, housewives all came out with the savings that they had, and all the husbands came to know of those savings. Then, don't go fast. Okay. Old outstanding return of debts were recovered, as I said. Business came to standstill and grapevine for phone tapping by government. I mean, that is something which was, the immediate effect that you don't talk anything about these things on telephone. The government has started taping the phones. So there were advices that were flowing around that don't talk anything about things on phone. Next. As soon as the announcements were made, the fuel to the fire was added by social media. The various kind of announcements that were being made by the government. It started with the threat that 200% penalty would be charged if you deposit your cash and don't pay your taxes on the said income. Thereafter, Modi also said that all the black marketeers and holders will have to put their money in Ganga. Ganga mein baha do wo paisa. They will not be able to use it because of harsh penalties and prosecution provisions which are there in the existing Income Tax Act. Then he started with Kagaz ka tukda. I mean, that made everyone to run around that we have got 4 hours to use that, otherwise it will become Kagaz ka tukda. And recently he announced that this is not end of the story for black marketeers. This is only a starting point. So there is a lot more to come. And they also started announcing that if you use someone else's account or you use someone else's money to deposit in your account, you would be penalized heavily. All these things made things different for us, and it was a nightmare for all of us. Next. Well, there were also positive announcements, as I said. The very good announcement that they made was housewives, farmers and small artisans and businessmen who would not be asked any questions if they deposit up to 2,50,000 rupees in their bank account. Petrol pumps, government hospitals and other specified agencies were allowed to accept high denomination notes, which continues to be there till today. And today only announcements have come that it will continue to be there for up to 1st of December. So that is a good announcement. Utility bills also can be paid with high denomination notes, including the municipal corporation and other local bodies were accepting their payments in cash with high denomination notes. Airline and railway booking can also be done with that. Next. Now, what is the way forward? Having seen all these, having seen the impact of it on the normal life, what are the way forward? Now, only way which is given to the taxpayers or to the citizen of this country is to deposit that money in bank account. That's all. Beyond that, this money cannot be used. Except, of course, for the specified parties who are allowed to transact business in high denomination notes. You and me cannot transact any business in 500 and 1000 rupee denomination notes. Now, when we say that it is to be deposited in bank account, there are certain questions which have come up. Is like a PPF account. I mean, everybody is ready to pay in PPF the amount of rupees 1,50,000 which is allowed. Can we consider PPF account as savings bank account where no questions would be asked to you? But my experience has suggested that bankers have all realized that PPF account is a special investment account which cannot be termed as bank account. And hence they have stopped accepting initially for a few days, a couple of days, probably many banks accepted subscription in cash in high denomination notes. But thereafter they have also stopped. Probably they have been given the instructions, but there is no way you can deposit money in PPF account also. Good part is post offices have started accepting cash in 500,000 rupee denomination notes, including those small accounts, recurring deposit accounts where you can deposit in advance the entire year's subscription. That is also there. That is going on. These are, I mean, good steps that have been taken. Next. Then we come to social media. I mean, you and me, everybody is using these social media, particularly WhatsApp, Facebook. We get number of messages on it, conflicting messages. Somebody says this way, the other says that way. I mean, there are few examples of it. Those advices that deposit your entire amount which you want to deposit in your bank account at one go. If you deposit or if you divide it in number of divisions in that, then you would be asked questions as to what to deposit in your accounts for housewives, farmers and others who are not paying taxes, of course. I'll come to that in detail little later. And bank lockers would be digital. So effect of those were, very chilling for all of us, that what to do. I mean, how do we tackle this situation? And I'm sure everybody in smaller or bigger quantities would have this problem, and people are still wondering how to use it. But there is no worry. We can wait till 30th of December and take a conscious call of how to utilize that money. I think that is the basic thing that everybody is looking for. Next. Anyway, I mean, there may be questions that may be coming in your mind. I would have appreciated if we can discuss that right now, but I am told that I am having only 40 minutes. So after I will try to finish off my presentation as fast as possible, so that we are left with enough time for question and answer sessions. Is that fine with all of you?
Yeah.
I am okay otherwise also, but then I think most of the questions would be answered once I give my presentation, so that questions would be lesser. This method is also. Deposit in bank account as cash on hand so that you don't pay any taxes. People have started coming to us that I have taken out my withdrawal for last 5 years, and has that rate of tax available to you as an option. So that gives us some indication that yes, even government wants us to disclose any amount under that particular section, and payment of 30% tax is allowed. But extending the logic which I said about the housewives, farmers and small artisans for which 2,50,000 by the government. One should.
What about prosecution?
Prosecution is not that easy, and again you would have very good by paying taxes.
So you don't need to disclose anything at all, how you earn that money or
Well, even in the
any
past,
charge it is earlier money and not this year.
as I said, it is for the person who claims that the money does not belong to you or not earn money in current year but the previous year, the onus lies with them, whoever it is. So you need not worry that you will be asked these questions. As I said, you can say that if I was in possession of this money and I offered it for taxation, and that's all. Beyond that, it may not be possible for you to give any answer.
Can they not open the earlier year books?
Well, it is not that easy to open earlier years books unless they have information, specific information that you have defaulted on something, you have not shown this particular income in your return. Like it normally, what happens is that it comes from cross verification from somewhere else. And whatever experiences that you all may have for reopening the cases, it is based on what is available with the department. Any information which is available with the department. It is not possible for them to reopen just because you have shown income in current year and reopen that on their own free will. It is just not possible.
There is another thing that
One should not be worried about it at all, about reopening of your earlier assessments.
that you can deposit in your children's account and show it as gifts.
No, definitely not. Gift again. Let me take 2 minutes of yours. Whenever you say that there are any gifts, there is something called ICG test, identity of the donor, creditworthiness of the donor, ICG, genuineness of the gift. These three things are required to be proved. And in any case, if you show any income in children, and if you cannot prove that these gifts are from whom, then it would obviously be included in your income, in the parent's income. So there is no fun in doing that. Yes?
What are the chances of them making a change during the budget to cover your, filings in clause 68 or whatever it is?
It is a good point, but when you want to make any changes in the act, see, when you want to make any changes in the act, it needs approval of the parliament. Change cannot come. There are only two ways in which change can come. One is when parliament is not working, it is not in session, then at that time they can come out with the notifications. And when parliament is working, if there are any changes that are required by law, in law, it has to be passed in both the houses of parliament.
During the budget as a finance bill, they
But
can,
that it cannot be given effect for retrospective effect. And it is made very clear by this government when they came to power that we would not be making any changes in budget which are retrospective in nature. And penalties, it is a universal law that penalties cannot be levied after the act is done. If there are any prescription of penalty, it has to be there on the day on which the crime has taken place. I mean, if I use the word crime.
that means this effectively is the cheapest VDIS that is around.
Cheapest. Yes, it is much better than the IDS. You are given this opportunity and one should not lose this opportunity.
So when you give this advice, what is the amount you are saying? Can I put in 10 crores and
Deposit it. Yes.
We are talking about 200% penalty, would mean 30% plus 30 plus another.
He's saying no
You
60.
see, 200% penalty is on the taxes that are sought to be paid. It is not 200% of income. Mind you.
Yeah, so if it is 30% paid, then
30%
another
paid, and if you have
60%
not paid
will be
anything, 200% on that would be
60%.
60%, 90%. So the entire
You are
amount
paying
would go
all
away.
entire
Entire
amount
amount would go away if you don't disclose it. So there is no fun. And you are given this golden opportunity of VDIS scheme at the rate of 30%. One should take benefit of it. And in times to come, I don't think there would be much use of cash, which otherwise is very frequent. And that is the reason probably why.
Use of cash is always there.
Yeah, it will remain because so long as bureaucrats are there, you will need it
Income
anyhow.
tax officer who will
Yeah,
assign
and all
you-
bureaucrats. I mean, I say bureaucrats, income tax officers included. Without them, even after demonetization, when we go to department, they will not refrain from doing that. They ask questions, which currency, new or old?
They are themselves
They
not
are
accepting old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They are also accepting, but
Yes.
they say 30% more.
So what would
For
your
them, the difficult situation is that they cannot disclose it in their returns.
Yeah,
You and me have that opportunity of showing it in my reading.
Right.
They also can found it in their bag.
No, yeah, they can, but then other acts are applicable to them. Prevention of Corruption Act, which is applicable to all government departments, government employees. And under that, they would be penalized, they would be caught. Acquiring assets, we have been hearing in the news and the newspapers that they acquired assets more than the known sources of debt. So that could be made applicable to them. Yes, madam.
So out of the 15 lakh crores with money which is in circulation, they say, how much do you think will actually come back in?
5 lakh crore has come till today.
Right.
So
We are only on, I mean, it is less than 15
less
days
than
that have
15
come.
days.
5 lakh crore has come. They are expecting that 2, 3, 4 lakh crore would go away. It will be bonus to the government.
2, 3.
And today there was a grapevine
Huh.
that Modi government is giving some benefit to small taxpayers or small people. That out of that windfall gain, money would be given to taxpayers. I don't know to what extent it is correct,
Right.
but there are news going around in the social media.
That was his whole promise.
Jan Dhan
actually.
accounts. All people have opened in Jan Dhan account. Their account, 10,000 rupees per account holder. They will
Yeah, if they get it, nothing like it, nothing like it.
But provided they have not put in 2.5 lakhs in the Jan Dhan.
There is one more.
That's true, of course.
One more news which has recently come, I mean about an hour back, is that Nepal government has banned 2,000 rupees and 500 rupees new notes which have been prescribed by the government of
Indian government.
India.
Acha?
I don't know, again, the correctness of the news is not there, it is on the social media.
And it says that gold bars will be banned. I mean, you're not supposed to.
These are all, if I get some idea, I will put it on WhatsApp and that's all.
WhatsApp and it will
be
go.
viral
So it doesn't
in no
have
time.
any. Okay.
In no time.
What about 2,000 notes to be
Demonetized.
Yeah.
It is not that simple. Demonetization, I mean, you mean to say that after 3 years or 4 years or 5 years,
after 31st
2000 रुपया दे दिया, अभी 2000 लिया, अभी क्या करना है?
sorry?
After 31st December, 2,000 notes will be issued.
No way. It is not that easy. I cannot dream of it.
But the number of the actual currency notes now, why are there queues and queues outside the banks? Is it because the number?
As I said in the first part of my speech, that the secrecy of the entire operation was required. And if all of you remember that we had received these pictures of notes of 2,000 rupees just few weeks back. And they had kept it ready for that purpose only. But if they go beyond that, probably one would get the idea.
Yeah.
So that is the reason. I think we all need to cooperate with them in true spirit. That okay, whatever information or whatever problems we are facing, we should be able to face.
So if I have deposited 1 lakh cash in the bank, how do I declare it? Do I show it as income or I can show it as my
My
salary?
suggestion would be if you deposit it tomorrow before 15th of December, you pay 30,000 rupees tax on that as an advance. When you file your return, you show it as income from other sources for which a particular window is available in your return. There you can show it.
But if I have cash balance, then there's no.
Then there is no problem.
No,
But you should be able to justify that tax. That is bottom line.
Okay, thank you. That was the last question. Thank you, Amit.
Well, thanks everybody for
Good.
I would request Chavni to propose a vote of thanks.
1000 का नोट दे दे.
आज 1000 के नोट बहुत आने वाले हैं, बहुत बर्थडे से लगे।
The subside was accepted. Do you want to see if this is cash? So the whole thing is that सबसे बड़ा रुपया. Yeah. So thank you so much for making time for us and giving us this much insight on taxation and everything. On behalf of Rotary Club of Bombay Worli, I thank you. Thank you, Netra, for bringing him to us. And everyone, thank you very much for making time for us.
Now the next is the secretarial announcement. I think the secretary has got a sore throat. I will do that honors today. The secretary celebrated her birthday on the 11th of November. I think
New notes.
New notes.
11.
$2,000 का चलेगा.
There should be machine beside the car.
She wants to put 20,000.
Now you put it. Everybody, you will have to do that.
अब निकाल दिए तब तक दूसरा बर्थडे बोलो.
Okay, I was waiting कितना डालता है, so that सामने वाला दे. Sunil Dhawan is not here, I think. He also celebrated his birthday on the 20th. Varsha's husband Gautam celebrated on the 22nd. I think Mona should come forward now.
Huh?
Sanjay Kadakia celebrated, her husband has celebrated the birthday. We are celebrating it today.
सब पैसा बैंक में जमा कर रहा है.
Thank you, Mona. Amarjit Kulbir celebrated their wedding anniversary yesterday. Friends, just wait. There will be a cake cutting ceremony. Kiran and Kamlesh Bimani are celebrating their anniversary today.
Oh.
The club and the district events for the next week, I think Netra is already up. Within 2 minutes we'll cut the cake after adjourn. Netra has already announced it. The attendance today is total 35, members 24 and 8 guests 3. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Let's have a cake cutting, guys.
Yeah.
The birthday boy is not there, but the anniversary couple. Yes. Birthday boy is wife. Whether she wants
Friends,
to
just
take
wait. There is a cake cutting ceremony. Please wait.
अच्छा कैमरा है, अच्छा कैमरा है.
Like,